In the far north of the British Isles, an army of Romans is marching north. Led by Governor Gnaeus Julius Agricola, this army is raiding and laying waste to the eastern coastline of what the Romans would call Caledonia, or in the modern day is known as Scotland. But this raiding is not done out of pure hatred and evil, but is a legitimate tactic that Agricola is employing to force the Caledonians into a pitched battle. Ever since the start of this Roman invasion of Caledonia, the resisting forces have refused to meet Agricola in the open, which is denying Rome one of their major advantages, their superiority in conventional battle. But the raiding works, and forces the resisting Caledonian tribes out of using their guerrilla tactics and into a pitched battle. And this pitched battle happened in a place called Mons Graupius. In Latin, the word mons means mountain, and so we know that this battle occurred either on or near a hill or a mountain, which helps us to locate the area in which the battle occurred. Nowadays, it is believed that the battle happened in Aberdeenshire, but the exact location is still debated. There are a number of sites that fit the description, and so it is impossible to pin down which of those is the correct site. But hey, at least we have a general area. Our source for this encounter is the Roman author Tacitus, and this presents us with some issues. Agricola, the governor of Britain at this point in time, is actually Tacitus's father-in-law, and we know from Tacitus's writings on Agricola that he admired his father-in-law very much. In fact, Tacitus's work named Agricola centered on his father-in-law, and definitely portrayed him in a very good light. That suggests that we might have some issues with the accuracy of the source, given that Tacitus has reason to embellish the successes of Agricola. However, we do also have some evidence that Tacitus cannot have completely faked the success of Agricola. For starters, we know that Agricola served a 7-year term as the governor of Britannia, which is unnaturally long for any Roman governor. The fact that he was not recalled earlier is probably testament to the success that he found in governing the province of Britannia. Furthermore, we know that when Agricola was eventually recalled from Britannia, he was given some of the highest honours by the Roman emperor, showing us that Agricola was almost certainly an incredibly distinguished and successful governor of Britannia. Given this, it is less problematic to take Tacitus's word here. So let's get on to the battle itself. What happened here that got Agricola the honours from the emperor? The Roman force was made up of 8,000 auxiliary infantrymen, flanked by 3,000 Roman cavalrymen, while the Roman legionary force stayed in reserve. The Caledonian force was arrayed at the foot of the hill, facing the Romans, with the first rank of infantrymen standing on flat ground, while the back rows were standing on the lower incline of the hill. Given the contours of the hill, the Caledonians were said to be arranged in a horseshoe formation. The Caledonians also possessed chariots, which were operating on the flat ground in front of their main infantry force. The battle began with Agricola ordering his central auxiliary men to advance, engaging the Caledonians in a frontal assault, which was incredibly successful. Seeing their ailing brethren being slain in front of them, the rear ranks of the Caledonians attempted a flanking manoeuvre of the Roman auxiliaries, but were themselves outflanked by the Roman cavalry. What ensued was no less than a complete rout. The Caledonian ranks took no time in disintegrating, and a chaotic retreat was called. The well-organised Roman cavalry had no trouble picking off retreating Caledonians as they made their way to nearby woodlands. When the Caledonians reached the woods, they were much harder to pursue, and so 20,000 Caledonians managed to escape the battlefield. However, 10,000 Caledonians were reportedly killed, equal to a third of the original Caledonian force. The Romans, allegedly, only suffered 360 casualties. Though we cannot be certain that the numbers involved are not embellished in some way, we do know that Agricola came out on top in this encounter. He was given triumphal honours by the emperor and offered the proconsulship of Asia, which he declined as he wanted to retire instead. The Romans were not able to capitalise on this success, however. Just 5 years after the northmost Roman fort in Caledonia was built, it was abandoned. Tacitus laments that no sooner was Britain conquered than it was lost, and in his writings is very critical of the Emperor Domitian for failing to subdue the entirety of Britain. We believe nowadays that an invasion by the Dacians of the Balkan territories of Rome necessitated a withdrawal of Roman forces from Caledonia for reinforcement. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to stay up to date with content, and I will see you next time.